there is a not in strike barrel lug. It does the job of a primary with the size of a sidearm. Hello everyone, Brachiosaurus227 here. There have been very few rival blasters as of late, but they still keep popping up. This year we got the Challenger and another blaster called the Mirage. Now I haven't gotten to reviewing it, and it came out like back in February or whatever. Well, now I have one, and I can confidently say that, I don't know, it's pretty mid actually. But there are a few redeeming qualities that I do want to talk about, so let's get started with the review. Included is the blaster itself, rival AccuBlast rounds, instructions which I tore up while getting out of there, and the magazine. To operate the blaster, you want to take your rival magazine, load it up with 8 rival rounds, put it into the blaster just like that. The mag well is actually pretty nice and it's a pretty smooth insertion. Make sure your safety is off, prime the blaster, and pull the trigger to fire. The Mirage fires at about 85 to 90 FPS, so that's standard rival range as far as performance goes, and it does have slam fire. We'll get into that in a minute. There's also an alternative way of loading the blaster. If you want to leave your mag in there, just prime the blaster back, and you can load through the little hole at the top. Now you want to make sure you put your rival rounds all the way into the mag, otherwise you're going to end up jamming it. But once you get used to loading it, it works pretty reliably. Now the biggest problem with the smoothness of operation is the prime. The prime is very stiff and short. And what sucks is that there's not a lot of grip space on the priming handle, which means, yeah, it's going to be a really tough grip. And it also doesn't help that the priming handle kind of feels cheaply made. So it's really what holds this blaster back, and it ends up causing a lot of jamming issues. Just like this one right here. Now it's easy to fix these issues, but it's still really annoying. But everything else about the blaster operates quite smoothly. The mag insertion and release work pretty well. Now the mag release is only located on the left side of the blaster, so it's going to be easier for right-handed users to get their finger right there and do it. But if you're one of the left-handed people, which they don't exist actually, it's a weird fact, left-handed people don't exist. I'm just kidding, guys, I know that's kind of offensive. But if you're left-handed, you just kind of use your middle finger and accidentally flip off your friends, and you can tap the thing and, you know, get the mag out of there. The grip itself is very cheap feeling. It's really creaky, and you can even see you can feel the creakiness and the flexing of plastic. It's not that good. But once you put a mag in there, it's actually quite stable and holds up pretty well. I actually don't mind the grip. When the mag is not in the blaster, the grip feels completely awful and trash, but when you put the mag in, it gives the grip some structure and feel, and actually is quite nice. The priming handle itself is quite comfortable, but it just doesn't fit this blaster. There needs to be more to grab onto, or some kind of thing to make the prime a little bit easier, because as is, this prime is way too stiff and way too short for something this smooth and comfortable. But while we're talking about the back, let's address this stock. This is not a stock. A lot of people thought it was. Let's just before you buy this blaster, get out of your mind, this is not a stock. It's not functional as a stock. It's not a stock. It's a wrist brace, if anything. That's mainly what it is. It's way too short to be a stock. It's shorter than even the shortest of stocks. It's not a stock, okay? I made that clear. But as a wrist brace, it works actually quite nice, and they have this little little tube of plastic or whatever, and it actually gives it a nice little rounded feel so it doesn't dig into your wrist, which is great. Of course, we have the little unjamming button there, which you're probably going to end up using quite a bit. The overall design of the blasters, though, is really nice. It kind of gives me the vibe of a shark, if that makes sense. The flow of the plastic and just the way it all goes together, it looks great. This whole blaster looks great. I love the color scheme with the black, the blue, the yellow, the orange. It looks vibrant and really unique. For some reason, there's a lot of rival rails. There's one down here, there's 2 on the sides here, there's 1 on the bottom, and there's 1 on the top. There is also a sling mount right here, which is a weird place for a sling mount, but whatever. There is a not in-strike barrel lug. I don't know what this is. I think they were probably playing attachments at some point, but it ended up not working out. I'm not sure. There's a little iron sight up here, and it actually kind of looks, I kind of like the way it is. I really like this iron sight. Again, my biggest issue goes down to the priming handle, which in turn causes jamming. It just really sucks that that's the issue. But before I get into my final thoughts and opinions, let's take it out to the range and get some numbers. All right, guys, we're out here with the Nerf Rival Mirage. We're going to be shooting it downrange. I have a full 8-round mag. We're just going to be firing it normally. And then, of course, I have a 7-round mag right here that we're going to be firing with slam fire. So let's get started. So as you can see, very consistent ranges, a little bit of veering to the right at the end there, but surprisingly, the accuracy is really, really good with this blaster. I've noticed it specifically with this. It seems to be a lot more accurate than my other rival springers. I don't really know why. It's not the AccuRounds. I mean, I know the AccuRounds shoot a little bit more accurate, but this blaster in particular just shoots rounds more accurately than other blasters, which is interesting. All right, let's try the 7-rounder. We're gonna do slam fire. Oh, jam. There we go. That last one was a little bit angled, but as you can see, kind of got all over the place. It's really hard to slam fire this thing with how stiff and kind of smooth this prime is. You can definitely kind of like shake your blaster a lot more than you normally would, and it is a bit annoying. So again, the slam fire is cool, but it's almost useless. We have the lowest round firing during the slam fire test at 61 feet. We have the main lower grouping. Most of these are slam fire shots at 68 feet. We have the upper main grouping, which was probably not slam fire, at 75 feet. And we have the furthest shot at 79. So what do I think of the Nerf Rival Mirage? Well, it's an interesting blaster, that's for sure. I don't hate it, and I don't really love it either. It is kind of on the mid side of things. There is some redeeming qualities, and I actually could recommend this to a few people. First off, the biggest pro that it has is that it does the job of a primary with the size of a sidearm. This is a tiny blaster. Look at this compared to the Maverick. It's almost the same size. It's not that much bigger than a Maverick. And that's really optimal for close quarters combat, especially with the prime back here. You can do a lot. It's a very nice utilitarian blaster for close quarters. If it weren't for the jamming, I would say this is one of the best rival blasters ever made. Like, I'm serious. But because of the jamming and the unreliability of the top loading mech, I can't really recommend this too much unless you're just willing to get past those things and get it. It's a little bit of a mid blaster. It's not bad. It's still operational. If you want to use it where it's just the mags and nothing to do with the top loading, you don't really get as many jams as you would if you loaded it from the top. So there is that. Just stick with swapping out mags and don't use this feature, and you should be good on the jams. You might still get a few, but you should be good. But I can only recommend it to someone if you're willing to deal with the crap. If you want a little bit more of a smoothing operating blaster, then get an Apollo, Helios, Chronos, or something like that. You might want to skip this one. But if you like the way it looks, and if you need it specifically for doing a primary job in the size of a sidearm, I'm going to keep saying that because I like that statement that describes this blaster perfectly, then I could recommend it. As for my personal rating, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's absolutely terrible. It does have some redeeming qualities, and I do have a little bit of fun with this blaster. It's not terrible by any means. It's okay. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Nerf Rival Mirage. Honestly, I want to see what more rival stuff they could do. This is an innovative system. If they could refine it, I could definitely see them continuing it. But yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, that's really weird. I'm just kidding. There's nothing in there. Be on guard, though, because I could have hit a little Rickroll or something in there. You never know. Never gonna give you up. My junk drawer. My junk drawer. So many things I don't know what they're for, but I won't let it go. No, I will add more useless little things to my junk drawer.